My name is Kevin. I'm 64 years old, and I'm going to tell you something that men my age are usually too proud to admit. I'm scared. I'm not talking about the fear of dying. Death is just a light switch. One click, and it's over. No, I'm talking about the fear of slowly stopping. The fear of waking up one day and realizing I've built a life I can no longer physically inhabit. It's about that moment when your world starts shrinking. When you're still here, your mind is still sharp, but you've become a prisoner within your own skin. I'm scared of becoming an ornament in my own home, a burden to the people I love, someone who has to be managed rather than someone who lives. That fear is why I started lifting, why I started walking, and why I started eating like my muscles actually matter. Because they do. In our 60s, muscle isn't about vanity. It's about the right to remain independent. It's the difference between living and merely existing. For most of my life, I lived under the comfortable delusion that I had plenty of time. I believed the great lie of our generation, that your body is a rental car you can drive into the ground and it'll just keep going as long as you pour in enough coffee and take a casual walk every now and then. I treated aging like something that happened to other people, or something that would start later. But later arrived on a crisp Saturday afternoon in October, and it didn't come with a warning label. It was a family barbecue at my sister's house. You know the scene. The smell of charcoal smoke, the autumn chill in the air, everyone wearing their favorite jackets, and kids screaming as they run across the lawn. Then Tom showed up. Tom is my real friend, not a text-once-a-year friend, but the kind of man who helped me haul a sofa into my daughter's first apartment. He's only 5 years older than me, just 5 years. Tom used to move like he owned the ground he stood on. He was the guy who'd volunteer to carry the heavy cooler, the guy who'd swing a grandchild onto his shoulders without even breaking his sentence. That day, Tom arrived in his old windbreaker and a baseball cap with a brim that had gone soft. He tried to make his usual grand entrance, loud voice, big grin, asking where the food was. But his body couldn't keep up with the performance. He paused at the little concrete step down into the backyard. Just one step, maybe 6 inches. He looked at it the way you look at a patch of black ice or a wet floor, like it was a trap that might betray him. He reached out and gripped the doorframe for balance, trying to make it look casual, and stepped down with agonizing slowness. When his foot finally hit the patio, I saw his shoulders drop just a fraction of an inch, like he'd been holding his breath the whole time. I noticed it. He noticed that I noticed it. So he did what we men always do. He made a joke. "Kev," he said with a tight smile, "don't get old. It's not for beginners." Everyone laughed. I laughed too, but my chest went cold. For the rest of the afternoon, Tom didn't move from his chair. He didn't wander over to the grill to check the burgers. He sat in the shade, his hands flat on his thighs, looking like he was ready for his legs to start an argument with him. When my sister asked if he wanted to see her new garden, he just smiled a tired smile and said, "I'm good right here. I'm good right here." That phrase is how your world begins to die. You don't say, "I'm losing my freedom." You say, "I'm fine where I am," in the chair, away from the stairs, away from the life you used to lead. When I got home that night, the image of Tom frozen at that one step wouldn't leave me. I did something I hadn't done in decades. I went into the middle of my living room and I lay down on the floor. I wasn't exercising, I was testing myself. I lay there for a second, feeling ridiculous, and then I tried to get up. I did it, but it wasn't clean. I had to use the coffee table for leverage. I felt the strain in my thighs, the creak in my knees, and a sudden sharp realization of how much effort it took. I felt that subconscious urge to avoid doing it again. And that's when my fear finally found its name. It wasn't about wanting to look good in a mirror. It was, I do not want to become housebound. I took a scrap of paper from an old envelope. I wrote 3 words on it. Don't become housebound. I folded it twice and tucked it into my wallet, right behind my driver's license. Now, every time I pay for groceries or pull out my ID, I see the edge of that paper. It's my warning label. It reminds me of the lesson I learned watching Tom. When you lose muscle, you don't just lose strength, you lose options. You lose the ability to say, sure, let's go, without doing a private calculation in your head about stairs, parking, and whether there will be a bench nearby. You slowly become a spectator in your own life, telling yourself you're resting, when the truth is you're actually disappearing. I started in the least glamorous way possible. I didn't buy fancy gear or announce a new me to the world. I just made a deal with myself. I will walk every single day, and twice a week, I will lift something heavy on purpose. The first few weeks were humiliating. I went to a basic gym and realized my strength was missing, like a tool you know you have in the garage, but haven't seen in years. I'm a stubborn man, and I'm good at pretending. I can smile and say, I'm just tired, when I really mean I'm weaker than I used to be. But I stopped pretending. I did the boring work. I lifted enough weight so that my body got the message. We still need this. I also changed how I ate. I used to make fun of diet advice, but I realized I couldn't build a house without bricks. I started eating protein, eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken, and even the cottage cheese I used to mock. After a few months, something happened. My world got bigger again. I stopped scanning every room for the nearest chair. I stopped feeling dread when someone suggested a walk. I could carry the groceries in one trip without my hands going numb. And the best part? My 6-year-old granddaughter. She has this habit of grabbing my hand and saying, "Come on, Kevin," like the world is running late, and it's my job to keep up. I can now be the man who says yes to her instead of maybe next time, because next time eventually turns into never. I'm talking to you directly now, especially if you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s. Listen to me. If you aren't 64 yet, you have something more valuable than any stock option. You have time. But that time is a predatory lender. I am pleading with you, start lifting now. Don't just do cardio. Don't just run until your knees give out. Do strength work. Lift weights. Pick up a barbell. Build muscle mass. Your muscles are your savings account. When you're young, you're making deposits. Every squat, every press, every heavy carry is a deposit into your future independence. When you hit 70, you'll be living off the interest of those movements. You do not want to be bankrupt when the world asks you to climb a flight of stairs or pick up your own child. Work on your flexibility. Stay mobile. You need to be able to move so you can keep doing the things that make life worth living. Skiing at 60, hiking at 70, playing on the floor with your kids. And for heaven's sake, stop eating like you're immortal. Learn how protein works. Give your body the building blocks it needs to keep those muscles. Trust me, being 65 and having energy, muscle, and flexibility, that is the ultimate status symbol. It's better than having a sports car in your 20s. You can buy a car anytime, but you cannot buy a body that works in your 60s if you neglected it in your 30s. If you start now, your future self will look back 40 years from now and want to shake your hand. You will be living while everyone else is just getting by. This spring, I'm planning a trip out west, Arizona, Utah, the Red Rocks. I'm not going there to prove I'm young. I'm going there to prove I'm still living. But I want you to look at your own life today. Be honest with yourself. Is your world getting bigger, or is it starting to shrink? When was the last time you made your legs work on purpose? Could you get down on the floor right now and get back up without using the furniture? Or are you already saying, I'm good right here, because you're afraid it might hurt? Don't wait for life to hand you a bill you can't pay. Start before you have to. If this resonated with you, subscribe to the channel. We share these stories so you can learn the hard way from us instead of from your own regrets. Leave a comment and tell me, what is one deposit you're going to make into your physical bank account tomorrow? And if you have a story of your own, a lesson you learned that could save someone else some pain, there's a form in the description. We read every single one. Thank you for listening. I'll see you on the trail.